And it said in the 4th verse, said, then the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. In other words, Jeremiah just got a word from God about what's getting ready to take place in his life. He said, Jeremiah, I want you to understand something. This is not about you. This is about what I did before you were even thought about. This is what I did. He said, before. He said, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. I don't know why we think that we got here and just when we got saved that God said, now I'm going to call you to be a prophet. It don't work like that. It's not that when I just got saved, God just decided that he's going to make me a pastor, an evangelist, a missionary, a prayer warrior. But it said before the foundation of the world, God said, I knew what I was making. And while I was growing up, I didn't understand why I was a little different from everybody else. When I was growing up, I didn't understand why I couldn't do everything that everybody else did. But I didn't understand why the devil fought me so hard where he didn't fight other people. But God had something in him. And he's telling him, he said, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. Before thou camest forth out of the womb, he said, I sanctified thee. He said, I set you apart. I separated you before you came out of the womb. Touch your neighbor and say, I'm not attached to nothing that God didn't attach to me. And what you're getting ready to see is being set apart means something in this hour. People don't think that holy living is required. But if you are set apart, if you are sanctified unto the Lord, there is some things that you will not be able to do. I'm trying to help somebody get delivered. I'm trying to help somebody move to their purpose on tonight. Being set apart means that there's something holy on the inside of me. There's something different. And here you see a young man who's got a conversation and God is telling him what's on the inside of him. Every now and then you got to touch yourself and you got to remind yourself of what God has spoken unto you. See, it's not about what I thought, because see, I had a plan. I don't know about y'all, but I had a plan. I had $1 million plan. I had a resting plan. I had a place to be retired, sitting back with my feet up and doing some things that I know I ain't had no business doing. But that ain't what God said. Oh, y'all looking at me like y'all didn't plan that kind of stuff. But it's all right, though. He said, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. So you telling me God sanctified some folks, that he separated you from the person sitting in the chair next to you and say your calling is going to be one thing and your calling is going to be something else? So why are we so busy in the church trying to do everybody else's job? We don't need to be trying to do the prophet job if you ain't the prophet. You ain't got to be the apostle's job because you ain't the apostle. You ain't got to try to do the pastor's job because you ain't the pastor. I'm trying to help somebody today. And we got those people that pick and choose who they going to follow and who they going to obey and who they going to honor. But you better get it in perspective on tonight, because God said that he's got a calling in the body of Christ that you may not understand, but when it gets ready to come forth, don't get caught lacking. I always issue the warning, you better be careful how you treat your neighbor, because you don't know what God got down on the inside of them. While you looking down your nose thinking you all that, you might be looking at the next great televangelist. While you're looking down